So what you are saying, then, is that I specifically chose to work together with Hifumi. The idea that I would choose to spend any amount of time interacting with him, that I would go within 10 feet of that
That's how we know you're dead.
brains, that lazy, worthless
Actually,
goddamn idiot!
now it's last.
Pardonnez-moi.
Just to be clear, there is evidence to support it.
Is that so?
Yes, that is so.
Throughout the investigation, there was certain behavior that was common only to...
I got it! The behavior they had in common has to do with the suspicious individual in the suit, doesn't it? The only ones who ever actually saw
Shush! The adults are talking. As he said, only Celeste, if we accept...
Are you saying everything they told us was a lie?
After taking Hifumi to the nurse's office, we all began our search for this individual. And not too long after that...
She let out a blood-curdling scream.
And when we'd all come... Once she'd done her job of getting us all up to the physics lab...
That's a blood curdling scream.
It was to get us to divide into two groups.
In fact, Celeste was precisely the one who proposed that we split up. Well, if Celeste and Hifumi were working together, all those chance events suddenly become connected.
You're busted.
And on top of that, that piercing cry of yours early on. That was to signal Hifumi, wasn't it? It was your way of telling him, we're on the 3rd floor, everything's going according to plan. Why else would you let out a...
I just realized another when we found Hifumi. Celeste, you were the first one to say he'd been murdered. You wanted to make
I don't believe...
Kina,
Yeah?
she wasn't worried about you. She just saw a chance to help Hifumi sneak out of the nurse's office.
Each piece isn't much, wouldn't you agree?
I have no idea...
Don't bother trying. You made one fatal mistake.
Oh.
I didn't even catch it myself when you first said it, but looking back, I can say that that one little slip-up was your undoing.
What are you talking about?
I'm talking about what you said after Hifumi's body disappeared and we returned to the nurse's office.
I know what you mean.
I remember her saying that too, but I don't understand what's so
Then pay attention. Sakura, Toko, and I were first to discover Taka's body. Then Makoto showed up and told us Hifumi had... Once we were in the hall, we ran it. Now, the entire... Think about it. Celeste's comment doesn't make sense. It was completely out of place.
Yeah, I see what you're talking about.
You hear that, Celeste? Everyone's having some trouble understanding. Could you repeat what you said? If you're really not the culprit...
All I said was... They must really be enjoying this. Enjoying the sight of us standing around, frightened and confused. They must be positively elated. We are all going to die here. All going to die. We are going to die.
Just like those... No, that's wrong.
Yep. Yeah, you're not fooling anyone.
That's right. There's no reason Celeste should have said, just like those guys died. When she said that, none of us had told her Taka was dead.
Exactly. And we didn't run into her until... So there was never any...
So how did you know? How did you know more than... Because Kyoko had all...
You all have such vivid...
imagination.
You claim that I was lying. Then what about the picture I took? How do you...
It has to be some... Celeste, put the suit on. and
Have you so? Plus, if everything
Simple. Are we sure?
what could you
Surely there are other explanations.
You feel like dragging Hiro away.
I got it! It's not a picture of the suspect.
That's certainly within the realm of The one being dragged off in that picture isn't Hifumi, but the person in the robot suit. We've simply been led to believe that it's the other way up. And the strange costume might only exist if you saw someone wearing something like that in this situation.
that's what happened! You put me to sleep and made me out to be the bad guy in all this!
is utterly impossible.
Is it? I don't think it's ridiculous at all.
Then shut your mouth and allow me to educate.
You dressed me up in that suit after I passed out! Then you just draped me across Hifumi and had him carry my weight! You tried to make me look like the bad guy!
Like I said, ridiculous. As you can see in the picture, the suspect is standing perfectly upright. If the person inside the suit was unconscious, there's no way they could stand up straight.
No, why?
No. Even if the person inside the suit were unconscious, they could still, because that robo-justice...
That's right! They totally made a mistake when they made it, so it couldn't bend at the waist.
I'm not so sure that was a mistake. I think the suit was designed from the beginning to be used the way it was.
Celeste and Hifumi took the suit they'd specially designed and stuffed Hiro into it. That's how they were able to fake that whole thing. The point of it all was to make us believe whoever was in the suit was to blame.
Well then, I suppose this is
What got to now, huh?
Don't make me laugh, you idiot! What do you mean, checkmate? Celeste? Clearly, you want to cram me into your little guilty box. Well, there's one little problem. Have you already forgotten what Hifumi told us as he... When we asked him who had attacked him, his answer was quite clear, was it not? He said... In other words, Yasuhiro Hagakure!
Right! But my name isn't really Yasuhiro! It's...
Your confusing statements don't make any sense. You're only making things more complicated.
He did say Yasuhiro, but are we sure he was really pointing the finger at Hiro?
What the hell are you talking about? I'll burn you alive!
Kyoka, what do you mean by...
Think back to how Hifumi, how did he refer to each of us?
I got it! That's right! Our last names! He called us all...
Exactly. I know I heard him say Mr. Naegi more than once, so if Hifumi did mean to say Hiro's name, he would have said his last name, Hagakure.
I'm sure it was indecent.
Don't talk.
Random chance. Now isn't that a convenient explanation? No. There's no reason to think he would have said the name, but he must have run out of energy before he...
So Hifumi was trying to tell us the...
But the name he said doesn't apply.
Well, no. Hold on. And that's Celeste. She never actually told us what her real name is.
To think you'd take... Come on! Enough with your idiotic blather. Yasuhiro is a loser's name. Do I look like a loser to you? Well, do I?
Girl, stop going crazy.
I think
You're...
I've earned the right to be a little on edge. Okay. Fine. Make sure your ear holes are wide open and listen up! My real name is Celestia Ludenberg. Could you please stop making me repeat myself over and over again?
Hifumi was trying to tell us something. He wanted us to know the killer's last name, Yasuhiro.
If there's one person here who might have that last...
It would have to be you, Celeste. You haven't told anyone what your real name is.
How many times do I have to tell you? Right? Celestia Ludenberg, god damn it!
How long do you plan to go on pretending?
I'm not pretending. It's the time since you have no way to contradict me. That's the only truth there
Alkaline.
is! Moron!
Hifumi was trying to tell us. He wanted us to know the killer's last name, Yasuhiro.
Got to cut that out.
Shoot! Hifumi was trying... He wanted us to know the killer. If there's one person...
It would have to be you, Celeste.
How many times? Celestia Ludenberg!
How long do you plan?
I'm not pretending. It's the truth. And since you have no way...
No, that's
Frog!
That's it! The handbook!
What?
Anytime you turn your handbook on, it shows the owner's name when it boots. So all we have to do is check her hand. That's how we can find out Celeste's real name.
That's...
Celeste, can you please just tell us, please?
Even when I'm put in check, it's just my nature not to give up. Because until the game's over, you never know what might happen.
Fine then. Let me go over the case again, from the beginning, and shed light on all your crimes. And that'll bring everything to an end. The killer is you! Before anything, the killer persuaded someone to help carry out the murder. And that person was... Hifumi. With an accomplice, the killer was able to execute a number of otherwise impossible... First, they convinced someone to meet them in the rec room last night at 1 in the morning. That someone they met with was Hiro. The murderous duo intended to pass Hiro off as the prime suspect. So when they met up with him, they drugged him, knocked him out, and stuffed him into the Robo-Justice suit. Next, Hifumi positioned himself to make it look like Robo-Justice was attacking him, while the killer used a digital camera to take pictures of the assault. They did all this just to create evidence that would put the suspicion on Hiro. When they were done with him, they shoved him, still unconscious, into the pool room locker. And then finally, at 6 a.m., they moved into the murder phase of their plan. They called Taka to the equipment room.
Poor Taka. I feel so
And
bad
that's
for
where
him.
Hifumi killed him, making it the scene of the first murder.
You deserve to go out like that?
The
Did
murder
nothing to you
weapon was
guys.
Justice Hammer 4,
Yeah, you kill him.
which was left there in the equipment room.
Bastards.
The reason Hammer... So, with the first there, they would stick with...
Hifumi got white.
While we
Hifumi
did
got what's
that,
coming to
we left Hifumi alone in the nurse's
Taka
office.
didn't.
This was
He didn't
exactly
deserve
what
that death.
Hifumi was hoping for.
Yeah, you kill him anyway.
He took a blood packet from the refrigerator and Justice Hammer 3 and turned the room into a crime scene
Sadistic.
in which he
Just
himself
sadistic.
had apparently been brutally murdered. He let out a scream to draw us back, and when we returned, that's what we found. Meanwhile, the other group that had been out searching found Taka's body at the same time. So when we heard the body discovery announcement, we naturally assumed it was for Hifumi. We left the nurse's office, and Hifumi once again took advantage of the situation. He simply got up and made his escape. When we learned his body had disappeared, we all rushed back to the nurse's office. And once again, Hifumi had the chance he was waiting for. This time, he snuck into the equipment room. He wrapped Taka's body in a tarp and used the dolly to move it all the way down to the repository. That explains how each of the bodies disappeared. But even Hifumi didn't know what the true killer had in mind for their final act.
Karma!
Their plan all along was to kill Hifumi and get rid of the one person who could betray them. And they did it
You don't
using an
kill
ordinary, everyday
somebody
hammer from
innocent.
the repository. That should cover everything that happened in this case. And the villain behind it all is... Celeste! Sorry.
Yep,
You
you're out,
lose.
Celeste.
I lost? When was the last time I was forced to utter such words? They hang heavy around my neck.
Then you admit it? You're the killer?
Listen to you, trying to take charge, as if you're my private instructor. I, Celestia Luna Taiko Yasuhiro is fine. Taiko?
So, you...
I'm the kind of person, once I've lost, I don't like things to drag on. Okay, Monokuma. I'm ready to begin. I
accept your
suppose this is
execution,
the
huh?
end, isn't
Gotta
it?
accept your death?
It is indeed the moment we've all been.
Well,
If you
better-
would,
better off
and when
for her
the
than
votes are
anyone else.
tallied, will you make the
Just get rid of her. Killing a guy like that.
Honestly,
I knew it. So then, in other words,
You guys killed him for no reason.
this is... There is nothing to be done. Just the worst. Oh, do you understand? What? Yes, indeed. Isn't it wonderful?
Thrills! Chills! Now then, I prepared a very special punishment! Let's give it everything we've
It's
got!
punishment time!
Punishment time!
Yes, it is.
I guess I'll let Kyoko hold on to this. What? Will it really give you the hope you're looking for? I can't say I ever saw it that way. Which is why, actually, it's not important. Well then, take care, everyone. Perhaps we'll meet again. In another life.
Bye! Get out of here. Fucking killer. Hey, don't feel bad for you at all. Is she a little bit scared? I would. But I guess not. You just run over. That's serious at this game, Monokuma. You're just a distance. Great. Great. I don't pity her at all. I'm glad Monokuma executed her.
Extreme! What are you gonna
Thank
do?
you, Monokuma. For once, I actually thank you for something. Wow.
You.
Just wow.